Welcome to this introductory Where We Learn video on the Educator's LogicTree toolkit. We cover what is a logic tree, how to build one, and using one. In every walk of life there are choices to make. Understanding choices and when they apply is a part of lifelong learning. As a teacher, educator, or expert, helping people to choose is not something done lightly. Being able to be objective in emotionally challenging times is often the difference between success and failure. Finding oneself in a totally new subject area can be a stressful, doubt-filled situation. So what tools do we have to help us? In financial decisions and business decisions, there are tools collectively called trees which help clear-minded decision-making. Decision trees, logic trees, issue trees, and hypothesis trees are some of their names. Mathematics uses trees to help teach multiplication and probability. In machine learning, there are algorithms such as decision trees, which produce logical paths from gathered data. What are trees to Where We Learn, and how can Where We Learn help? Where We Learn can help you render your tree from your expert knowledge for others to learn from. It also simultaneously provides an immersive experience for those interacting with the material for a first time or for a fresh perspective. Let's take a simple branch of a tree. We don't need the whole tree, just a branch of it. Drawing on it, we can identify the leaves or nodes. Interconnecting these leaves are branches. Finally, we can see where sometimes the branches split in different directions. We take away the pretty image and are left with a diagram. Without too much imagination, we reorganize things to be a little tidier on the page. Like a maze, you can navigate the branches and leaves. This is easy enough when you're looking down on the veritable maze of pathways. But please consider, how does your perspective change when you're in the maze and you can't see all the answers from above? Where We Learn introduces the LogicTree tool as part of the Educator's Toolkit, alongside the ability to build lessons, quizzes, and keyrings amongst many other educational tools. Next, let's have a look at how we build our logic tree. We begin with a tree already in mind. Is building a logic tree a good idea? We start with a very simple yes and no scenario. We log into our dashboard and select the Educator's Toolkit. From here we select the LogicTree workflow, and quite simply we choose the LogicTree Create and give our logic tree a simple, easy to recognize name. We are then dropped into the render view, like looking down at the maze from the top. We want to add our yes, no choices to the tree, so we click on our initial welcome leaf to customize it. We rename the welcome starting point leaf to something more engaging for the user. Branches connect leaves, so let's add 2 branches, yes and no. When we return to the render view, there doesn't seem to be much change, and that's because every branch needs to connect to a leaf. We go back into our first leaf, examine the branches, and click the leaf button, which will allow us to create a new connected leaf. After each creation, we can now see our decision tree building. Graphically, we want to engage with our learners. Therefore, in this instance, we use some amazing images from Pixabay to highlight our choices. Now we can go from our top-down view of the tree that we've created to a first-person perspective, literally going into the maze. The Start Again button helps us to go back to the start of the decision tree. The interface has been optimized to work on desktops and mobile devices. Over time, our decision trees can grow, and we may want to add or change options. In this case, we're going to add a third option, which leads to further options. On this maybe branch, we're going to provide 3 further options, highlighting 3 user interactivity capabilities. The first option we provide is a link to a website which has loads of useful information for us to learn from. The second option we add has a link to a YouTube video to explain ideas and provide a very immersive experience. Our third option leads us to a Where We Learn lesson, which provides loads of helpful learning materials. For you, the decision tree creator, all you need is the URL of the different resources and materials that you wish to provide to your students. The engine will dynamically change in order to best present the URL that it has detected. What have you built? An interactive, engaging logic tree with enormous contextual learning capabilities. With all the capabilities that decision and logic trees provide, but with the ability to put the user into the experience. There are many visual and interface customizations possible, including the ability to even add your own custom CSS. Help people understand complex scenarios with greater personal perspective. Why not even build a game for your students to engage with? There are loads more videos to explore and tools for us to use. Please explore and enjoy learning with Where We Learn.